I'm Chris.
I'm Adam.
I'm Topher.
Today is the first time we're going to be doing our new series, the Gear Science. Let's see. So we're going to be talking about guitar rigs for specific genres. If you enjoy it, let us know. We'll do more of these in the future. Our special guest is Joey Kaufman. He's the guitarist of the band Deathtax, which also happens to be our musical guest this week. So let's jump right into it. I think you got some gear news for us.
I saw a couple of newer things. I don't think we talked about the TC, did we?
I don't think so.
I think maybe in a chat or something.
Yeah, it could have been.
I saw that they just released when I saw it, they had just released the TC Electronic their own Impulse IR.
TC IR loader.
Yeah, it's like the size of the little Ditto looper.
Yeah, let me. So, have you guys seen the Moore? What is it? The Moore's IR loader. It looks identical to this almost.
Does it?
Yeah. Huh. So I'm wondering if it's
kind of backwards.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's rebranded but I think the big deal, like, for this to outshoot that Moore, it would be like the power rating on it, because that Moore runs off like 18 volts or something, or 12 volts or something, so it has to have a special power supply. Yeah,
this one looks like any one of their small digital pedals, so I'm going to guess it's probably 9 volts.
Oh, that's not the right one.
But I mean,
yeah.
Does the Moore, does that do? This one stores like 99 responses.
Moore IR loader. I can't remember what it's called. The radar. The Moore radar. So the radar has been out for a good 3 or 4 years now. But I don't remember how much it's supposed to have stored. 30 different cab models, 11 mic models, 4 power amp models.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen enough specs about the TC one to see where it compares on that.
I don't know if it did power amps or not. I just know that I saw it. You can store up to 99 like actual impulse responses on it.
At what quality though?
I don't. Yeah,
that's the question.
I'm pretty sure you guys have told me what impulse responses are before, but can we refresh our mind?
Yeah, so an impulse response is like what they use for its cab simulation.
That's
so
right.
Yeah, this is where they fire the sound through a cab and capture like what the actual sound is.
Like a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
So so it's supposed to basically be a think of it as like a 3D replication of the type of speaker and cabinet you have. So you're like, now you can make your little amp sound like a 112 with a Celestion, or a 412 with some kind of Alnico speaker.
Now what's cool about this one is they are actually licensed Celestion IRs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. So you don't have to. I mean, like, it's not like Celestion IRs are that expensive anyway, but yeah.
But yeah, anytime something is preloaded with some decent ones, I'd be curious to see what it sounds like.
Yeah. I don't know that I would switch back to using an IR loader, but
I
fine.
Don't know that I would, but still interesting.
Sports up to 200 milliseconds. Not bad. Okay. All right. What else we got?
I don't know. Not a huge. I'm not like a huge like Bonamassa like blues playing fan, but I saw that Way Huge released a new one, the Penny Saver Royal,
designed for Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. the overrated special overdrive.
Yeah.
And Blue Hippo chorus in it. I think it's supposed to be just a Dumble, right? Overrated special.
I think it's either a Dumble or a Klon or something like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I didn't really see anything else that interesting this week.
No. No. All right, cool. Let's jump into our weekly riff challenge. Do you want to introduce this one?
Okay, here we go.
Oh, Lord.
So this is since this will be airing around St. Patrick's Day, we thought we'd have some fun with that. And in an attempt to recreate a We Are the World moment, but in honor of St. Patrick's Day, Guitar Player Magazine decides to try and get a who's who of guitar players to come together to perform a group rendition of Whiskey in the Jar. But what they end up with is Slash, Tom Morello, Lindsey Buckingham, John Frusciante, and Brad Paisley. Though they're the only ones that manage to show up, they've clearly all have no whiskey left in their jars as the tape rolls and they try and mangle their way through the tune while barely managing to stand up.
All right, so we'll flip for it. You call it.
Tails.
Heads. I go first.
All right.
And I'm already ready to go.
Let's see what you got.
I'm so sorry for this one. It's not good. Oh, wrong button. Try that again. There. So that was something.
You made it to the chorus. That's good.
Yeah, you can't not make it to the chorus.
You cannot make it to the chorus. I promise you. But I did the intro.
Okay, what you got?
All right. Come on. There we go.
All right.
Well, I figured they were I was picturing them as they just got more and more lubricated.
Yeah, fair enough.
Forgetting how to take turns.
I like yours better.
I may have quoted a few things.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him.
Yeah, especially because I think you probably are a little bit more versed in Tom Morello and John Frusciante's work than I am.
Yeah, I honestly I was like, oh yeah, he plays slide on that Scar Tissue song, so we'll just do that. And I don't have I have a whammy pedal, but it's broken. So yeah. I use the data corruptor to just get the high squealy octavey thing.
Close enough. I'm not gonna lie, and I might cut this part out, but when I think of Red Hot Chili Peppers, John Frusciante is the last person I really care about in that band. Yeah. I pay attention more to the lyrics and treat them as a singer-songwriter band. I don't really.
To me, it's the bass. I'm all about.
Yeah, that. Flea. Holy shit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really, with a lot of music for me, it's I focus in on, which it's weird. I focus in on the bass player more than anything.
I usually focus on the singer, even though I'm not usually I don't really sing. So yeah. Huh. Interesting. Okay. So yeah.
I listen to the conga player.
Which is why we have Isaiah sitting with us all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. All right, over to our interview today with Joey. So hope y'all enjoy. Do you want to start? We'll start. Tell us who you are, how you came to be.
I'm Joey Kaufman. How I came to be. I don't know.
It's a different kind of shit.
Yeah, it's a whole nother. But yeah, I play guitar in Deathtax.
Cool. Awesome. So we're gonna ask you some questions. This is gonna be our first we can't say rig rundown because that's a copyrighted term.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. Premier Guitars rig rundown. Yep.
What are we calling this? Rig science?
Gear science? I think we're calling this the gear science.
Yeah, that's a broader term depending on what we do with it.
Yep. All right. So you want to take over?
Sure.
All right.
So thanks Joey for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Our first time doing a specific rig deal. So for those of you who are not, or for those who are not familiar with Deathtax, can you tell us a little about your sound and kind of the guitar tones you go for?
I just tell people we're a metal band. I feel like there's a lot of
It's like Twisted Sister.
Yeah. There's a bunch of that. It's just chunky licks and shit hot riffs, you know.
Right.
Nice.
But there's a lot of kind of every avenue of metal that gets thrown in our stuff. So
Okay, cool.
it's just easier to say that we're a metal band because at heart that's what we are. So.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, so, I mean, as far as guitar tone goes, I really just try to like jock stuff from bands I love. You know, I made the joke the other day that my guitar tone and setup is probably like if Andy Williams from Every Time I Die, Will Adler from Lamb of God, and then like the dude from Linkin Park had a weird love child. That's where I've kind of ended up. So
I appreciate that even Linkin Park fans still have no idea who plays guitar for Linkin Park.
Yeah. You know, and then there's some like, I mean, if you really like boil our songs down to like the core, it's just like heavier Creed. So
Okay.
I love Mark Tremonti. Like, I think he's a great guitar player, and I pretty much just try to rip off what he does a lot of times.
Is your rig similar to his?
Not at all.
Not at all. Nice.
I last year I was running his MT-15 head for a long time. I really love that thing, but I think more so what I'm saying is like it's the kind of like heavy, quiet, ambient, very like a lot of effects and stuff like that to make things sound big. But yeah, a lot of people shit on Creed, and I do too. But their first couple records were really important to me when I was a young kid. So.
People just shit on bands that they love, like they love growing up, and it's just trendy now.
Yeah.
The Nickelback thing.
Yeah,
people always shit on Creed for a long time,
yeah.
But
I get it.
I was a big fan too at the time. Like,
we were all there.
Yeah.
I think if you you know, I one time tweeted at Hatebreed because I was like, yo, that first Creed record straight up has Hatebreed breakdowns on it. Like,
did they respond?
Oh yeah, Hatebreed said, put some spec on our name. But yeah, yeah. There's some heavy Creed. I shouldn't have started talking about Creed because now I just don't want to stop talking about Creed.
That's okay.
Those first two Creed. Well, the second and third Creed record those were some important records for me when I was like 9. But yeah, that's as far as guitar tone goes. It's just very like, just mid. You know, this amp is kind of a bad example of that because it just has the shape knob, but like it's just, I'm a grown ass man, so it's just mid range. You know what I mean?
I like it when I hear somebody who plays metal that says mid range. Because everyone's usually like, no, take it away.
I'm not into that at all. I like a very bright. You know, we have a lot of hard stops in our music and a lot of like a lot of choppy single note stuff, and I feel like if you don't have that mid range, it doesn't just. You know, I like it to like bark through. You know what I mean? And you know, that's kind of where like a band like Every Time I Die, for example, comes into play because those dudes are sort of the masters of that like modern Slayer tone, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Yeah, just super aggressive mid range, super barky. These orange amps are cool because I think that they take my love for like obnoxious fuzz pedals and sort of like ratchet it back and then like kind of put it in the head. So there's that like kind of thick fuzziness to it, but it's still very aggressive, and with the right boost in front of it, I think it really barks. So yeah, everybody in my band's recently switched over to orange stuff, and we really couldn't be happier with it.
Orange, I think, is the coolest looking amps.
Oh, absolutely.
The only thing that ever bothers me about anything they make is like, I want it labeled. I don't want the shape.
Yeah. See,
like,
I love that.
tape.
Yeah, I love the symbols and stuff.
Do you?
I think it's just dumb. You know what I mean? Like,
is what it is.
That's kind of what we chase.
I appreciate that from here. Like, on an amp like that, right? Like I can only sort of read those words, but I can
see
tell.
the
I'm like, oh, that's a
symbols.
treble clef, man.
Yep.
Let's try. That's the
Okay.
treble.
Fair enough.
Like
Yeah.
it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So can you, like, let's kind of start from the top gear wise, like from the point A to the end. What kind of guitar are you playing?
In Deathtax, I play Telecasters. I sort of try to take everything about the Telecaster and ruin it. You know. Yeah, this started off as a whatever their like Mexican series was in 2019. I think it's like
Player
series. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. I love these guitars, man. They're just workhorses. And the reason I play Fender stuff, I play Jazz Masters, I play Strats too. But the Tellies are sort of my my main one.
It's like a lot of modifications there.
Exactly, yeah. I describe them as like, an old square body Chevy. Like you just you can stand under them and work on them. You know what I mean? And I basically ripped everything out of this one. I was hyped that it came with, it was routed for a humbucker in the bridge. I use Duncan Nazgul's. We play in two different tunings. So in our higher tuning, which is drop C sharp, like that's like the System of a Down, hypnotized, mesmerized tuning, the in utero tuning. I use the Duncan Nazgul for that. I feel like it kind of like it retains a lot of the like surgical kind of single note stuff that we do, but also like when when I palm mute, it sounds like it sounds like a building's gonna fall down when you palm mute with these. I do use a Duncan quarter pounder telly pickup in the neck of my guitars because we do have a lot of I love bands like Placebo and that kind of like a lot of clean delay stuff and a lot of big reverb stuff. And then the middle position sounds awful. It sounds horrible, but in a really cool way. I use that for like what I would consider like affected guitar parts. We have a song called An Oil Ocean, and in the first verse of that, I do this really, I go up high on the low string and kind of play the single note bit that when I switch to the middle position, it just sounds really, I don't know if it's out of phase, but it just sounds broken. Like these two pickups should never be in the same guitar together. So when you put them together, it just sounds like shit, but in a cool way.
Can we hear it real quick?
Yeah, sure. Let me see here. So this is like my just the Nazgul and the bridge, just and then just in the neck, Then you go to the middle, and I'll play that part in Oil Ocean where it's just like. It's very throaty, but like jangly at the same time.
Gets a little bit hollows it out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of something that like, going back to like kind of the bands that I've tried to emulate since I was like 12. Like Linkin Park would do a lot of stuff like that, where it was just like a very hollowed out, kind of empty sounding guitar tone. But I think that creates a lot of tension sometimes, and that's kind of what I was going for with that part. But
it goes back all the way to like Jimmy Page era stuff where he had he'd get his pickups so you could get him out of phase in the middle and just get that weird sound.
Yeah, exactly.
You need something different.
But yeah, so I just put these
it's Graphtec?
Yeah, Graphtec saddles on here. And then I got the Graphtec string tree up here. I still just have stock tuners on these. They'll break eventually. That's kind of like to go off what I was saying earlier. Like the reason I play Fender stuff is just because Warmouth.com exists. So anything that has gotten broken over the years is quickly replaced and taken care of. But yeah, this thing, I've had this for a couple years now. But yeah, I love this guitar. This is my C sharp guitar. We also play in drop B, so like a step down from this. I use so it used to be, you remember when Fender did those baritone tellies that were like the humbucker single coil? The body used to be that, and I bought that baritone guitar for this kind of strange open tuning that we're writing in for our full length. But I just couldn't get into like the baritone neck. Like it was like I completely forgot how to play guitar by adding an extra like 1.5 inches to the neck. So I ended up popping the neck off. I sold it. I had broken a Mexican Strat, but I salvaged the neck. So now there's a Strat neck on that baritone telly body. That one has the quarter pounder telly pickup in the neck. Or no, I'm sorry. That one has the quarter pounder Strat middle pickup in the neck. It doesn't sound a whole lot different, but it has like the pull pieces. So I feel like with the lower tuning, it kind of pays a little more attention to each string, which is nice when we switch to the clean stuff in the lower tuning. But that one has a Duncan Black Winter in the bridge, which is just like...
Isn't that the one they usually pair with the Nazgul?
No, that's a Sentient.
Oh,
it's like
okay.
the Pegasus and the Sentient.
Yep, I'm with you.
Which I used the Sentient for a long time. I just don't like humbuckers in the neck. It's just too much.
So when you're tuning down, like with your other guitar, if you're all the way down in B, and you said you put a standard neck on it, what kind of string gauges are you using on something like that?
So on the B guitar, I just use. I was going back and forth. Like I'm an Ernie Ball guy. I kind of always have been since I was a kid. On the C sharp guitars, I use beefy slinkies. I think they're like the perfect tension for what we do. They're loose enough to party, but tight enough to stay in tune, you know? And the drop B guitar, we use not even slinkies, which are a little too slinky for me. I kind of almost wish they would bump up like 2 numbers on each gauge. But D'Addario makes a set that's like a 12 to 60 on the bottom, and I really like those. I just hate, like, my brain just will not allow me to have Ernie Ball strings for one guitar and D'Addario strings for another. I don't know why. Like, I just can't bring myself to do it. So I stay with the not even slinkies.
So you kind of mentioned the orange amp a little bit. Is that a TH30?
Yeah, the TH30. That's fairly new to me. So when we play live, like I said, you know, we do, we have everything from fuzzy, blown out, obnoxious feedback to like very delicate, intricate, clean parts. So today what I have is what I would call my like throw and go rig. This is like, we're playing 5 songs at a pizza shop in Louisville, so we're just gonna rip through it real quick. Don't worry about the pretty delay parts and the ambient intros and stuff like that. This is take your drop B guitar and play caveman riffs for 15 minutes for people, you know.
Okay.
So this is just, this is the Orange 212. It's the open back one, which I was a little hesitant about. I haven't had great luck with open back cabs in the past. But this thing sounds really good, like with the distorted stuff. But normally what I do is I run the TH30 through an Orange 412. And then for a clean amp, I use the Orange Pedal Baby, the little power amp thing, which I never really would have thought to do. But it has like treble and bass on it, so you can really sculpt with it. But yeah, it's a rad amp. So that's the TH30 normally goes through a 412, and then the Pedal Baby goes through the 212. And then my pedal board, I have my main pedal chain, and then that runs into a radial AB box, and then that splits to the 2 amps, and then I have pedal chains that are after the AB box that split and are designated for each amp.
Okay.
So,
I guess that leads us to your board a little bit, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of walk us through kind of like what you've got, and then also like how you're using them.
Yeah, for sure. So the chain starts. I go into the Dunlop Mini volume pedal. I like the size of it. I prefer, like, I wish Ernie Ball did a mini version of their volume pedal because I prefer that one. I have like the anniversary one with like the Kevlar band inside of it, but it's this big, you know what I mean? So that one stays at home now, and the Dunlop's fine. It literally just works. There's nothing about it that I love, but That goes out to the Boss PS6 with the Harmonist pedal. It's like their pitch shifter,
right? Yeah.
I use that for, I call it bomb notes. Again, that's another thing I stole from Andy from Every Time I Die. I heard him do it live once, and like my eyes couldn't focus because the room was just shaking because it's just like it's like a slow dive down to 2 octaves down.
Oh wow!
And nice. When you're running that into like fuzz pedals and stuff, it's just jarring. So yeah, we do a lot of stuff. We have a song on our newest EP called "The Wall Takes What Belongs to It," and there's a little gap in that song where I just dive that down and let it rumble for a little bit before we go into this like really gnarly breakdown. After that, we go up to the Walrus Kangra. That's the newest pedal on my board. I actually owned it. I got it in a trade. Plugged it in for like 30 seconds. I was like, this is completely unusable for me. I don't need this. And then I sold it to our old keyboard player. And he was running like synth and stuff through it, which it's got a bunch of like filters and stuff on it. And it sounded really cool when he was using it. And then he left the band a couple months ago and was like, hey, I don't need these pedals anymore. Like, do you want it back? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll check it out. Like, we're kind of in this state where when we go into the studio, we like to have a lot of what we call spice racking, where it's just have a stupid amount of toys around to make stupid noise with.
Speaking my language.
Yeah. So, like, our other guitar player got his data corruptor, the EQD data corruptor. I got the Kangra fuzz, and then I guess that was it. Oh no, we have a fuzz face clone that we got from him too. But after that, we go into the Fuzz Rocious Moth. That is my favorite pedal of all time. Are you guys familiar with Fuzz Rocious?
I'm familiar with them. I don't know if I've seen the Moth before.
The Moth. So I don't know the exact word. Every time I read the description for it, it's just a bunch of words that I don't really know what they mean. If I remember right, it's like a hexagonal shaped oscillation unit. Maybe that's not right. It's been a long time since I've read into it.
If I remember right, Fuzz Rocious is one of those that they kind of just make stuff up on their description sometimes.
Like, maybe, I don't know.
They make really weird pedals.
Yeah. So this thing is like, it's advertised as like an overdrive with this like tremolo thing in it. But it's a very fuzzy overdrive, which I like. After that, we go into the Rainbow Machine. Easily the most unusable pedal I've ever had in my life. The data corruptor might compete with it as far as just stupidity.
I don't know. You get a usable tone out of the data corruptor.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. The one thing you can do with it, like, if you turn everything else down and you just turn the square wave up, it's basically just a weird shaped fuzz.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah, I haven't got to sit down with that one a whole lot. Like I said, that's on our other guitar player's board, and he doesn't turn everything down and just use it as a square wave fuzz.
I think you're the first person that does have a rainbow. I've ever heard that actually has a Rainbow Machine on their board.
Really?
Their
Yeah. So my girlfriend went out on a limb and got me that for Christmas. She had heard me kind of talk about it, a few times, and she picked it up for me. And I was so stoked because it was just it was a purchase that I never could have justified on my own, being like, it's just noise. Like, what are you going to do with it? You know what I mean? And then I had heard Carrie from Deaf Heaven talking about how that was the intro to Baby Blue, which is like a, it's kind of sounds like a phaser, but it's just a weird chorus effect, and it dawned on me that you could use it as a subtle effect. So I did that for the first 30 seconds that I had it. I ran it into this Fender combo that I have, and it was really pretty and warbly. And then I turned everything up. So that thing's wild. I use it, to be honest, I use it as a slap back delay kind of thing on the dirty amp, which is maybe not what it was intended to use. But I feel like that's like Earthquaker's thing, is it's like, we're going to give you this ridiculous pedal and it's your problem now. You know what I mean? So
I think they even like I was listening to an interview with the guy and his wife who own Earthquaker.
Jamie and Julie.
Yep.
Yeah.
They basically were like, what's the purpose of the rainbow machine? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not my problem.
Yeah, exactly.
After that, that's when we split off into the radial AB box. I love the radial stuff. I've had that same AB box in every band I've been in since like 2017, and I've never had any issues with it at all. I guess let's go to the dirty amp first. The only things that are in the chain for the dirty amp are my Hacksaw Overdrive. That was something that was built kind of specifically for me by our friend Enrique, who's here in Fort Wayne. Enrique Maldonado, I think is how you pronounce his last name. Maybe that's not right. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. Yep. Enrique rules. You guys have been to Berry Street, right?
Yep.
So do you remember the camo 212 cab and then the blue 212 cab that Scott had up there? Those are Enrique's cabs.
Nice.
He's kind of just this dude that like exists in the shadows in Fort Wayne, but he's a genius, and he builds some really like, you know, his big thing is every time he sees my rig, he like throws up in his mouth because he hates it. But he's just like a tone freak, and everything is. I love him to death, but sometimes I'm like, dude, you just hate everything. Like nothing's good enough. You know what I mean? But he rules. His stuff rules. That Hacksaw Overdrive is incredible. I don't know the specifics on it because he starts saying words about transistors and op amps and stuff that I'm just like,
yeah, man, cool.
Yeah.
Sick. It sounds great. You know what I mean? That Hacksaw is really great. I use it, I just kind of level all the way up, gain all the way down, and then it has a mid knob that he calls the saw, which is silly, but so I kind of that sits normally right at about noon, but sometimes depending on the room I'd turn it up a little bit just to kind of get that mid-range to it pairs nice with this amp because the lack of EQ on it can be a little frustrating in some rooms. So that mid knob on that really it's the jam.
So you said gain all the way down. Are you just mostly using that to like boost the front end of the amp?
Yeah, kind of. It's that whole thing of like, for me, my big thing with like my core dirty tone is that like I need the humbucker, the noise gate, and the amp to all get along. For a long time I was just going guitar, noise gate, amp, and I was getting pissed because like my pinch harmonics would get like die out. I wouldn't get like the sustain that I need. So that was when I started using the overdrive. Actually, I'll tell you a little funny story about orange amps real quick. When I was 19, I bought a rock reverb, the Mark I rock reverb, and I would like Jim Root uses this, Andy Williams uses this. Amp, yeah, like I got it, and I was like, this sounds awful. This sounds horrible. Like, what is going? How do they do this? I didn't know to put a tube screamer in front of it. I didn't know to put a boost in front of it at the time. So yeah, I was just going guitar, noise gate, and at the time too, I was just using like, whatever stock pickup because I didn't know how to solder at the time. So it was just like whatever stock pickup was in there. And I went to Gearfest for the first time, and I can't remember the dude's name, but he's in a lot of their social media stuff for like a representative of Orange and stuff like that. But he was there at Gearfest, and it was the year that they had introduced the Dual Dark, which those amps are sick. And I kind of went up to him and I was like, yeah, I couldn't really like get down with the Mark I rock reverb. Like it just didn't have the gain I needed. And he's like, are you stupid? Like he did. He looked at me. He didn't ask me if I was stupid, but just the look on his face. He was like who the is this guy? And he's like English too, so he had this like dope accent. But yeah,
I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah, he's long white hair. I don't know what his name is. There's a cool interview of him and Matt Pike on Orange's YouTube channel. But yeah, he ruled. He's the guy that like, I know he's like responsible for the design of either the dual tear or the tiny tear. I can't remember which, but he rules. And I was a dumb 19-year-old kid and was just like, yo, this amp, not very good. He's like, every single dude whose guitar tone you're trying to rip off uses this amp. You're a fucking idiot. Like, but yeah. So then I started using overdrive pedals, and the sun came out, and Choir of Angels. So, but yeah. So yeah, overdrive, Boss NS2, which the noise gate community is horrible. I can't stand talking to people about noise gates because. Like, I've used decimators, I've used the NS2, I've used, like, the Rocktron Hush, and then, like, basically every, like, big name brand noise gate. But then you get into the people that are, like, there's, like, boutique noise gates now, and I'm like, oh, boy. Like, I don't know. That's a $350 noise gate. No, thanks. So the overdrive and the noise suppressor goes into the Boss DD500. I love the screen on it. It's like basically I go back into like the like 80A, 80B, like that section of the presets, and I build the delay patches for all of our songs in there, and then I will create a set list, 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. That way, when I'm switching delay presets, I can just, it's one button, and I don't have to like jog through a bunch of stuff. And so yeah, I love the DD500. It's not the most inspiring delay pedal because like it's not a delay. It's not like a carbon copy where you get down, you start turning knobs and make stupid oscillation noises or anything like that. But it is the most like just gets the job done, reliable, sounds great always, and you spend a little more time like sculpting and stuff with it, but I think it's for the better in the end. But yeah, so and then that goes into the TH30. That's my dirty setup. Good push.
Sorry. Nice.
And then back out of the AB box, my channel A is the pedal baby or whatever clean amp I'm using at the time. But the only thing right now that's in the clean chain is the Boss RV500, which is just the reverb, sister of the DD500. But it's the same system, you know what I mean? And that's what I love about it. They work exactly the same. And I do the same thing with that. I have all these back in like the 70s and 80s in the presets. I have all these experimental reverbs and stuff like that. And then in the 1 through 20, basically, I have, basically every delay and reverb part that we've ever written is stored in there, and then I just plug them in wherever I need them for a set. Which that's what I love about those pedals. One pedal I don't have on the board right now because when our keyboard player quit, I kind of took over the samples and stuff. So I do have the Electro Harmonic 720 looper on here. And that's literally just samples. It's just little soundscapes in between songs. We do have some songs that have like stabbed in samples. There's a Lotto song in there that we use to check levels and stuff.
So is that that's just going right to like a DI or
Yep. I have the radial, just their passive DI box that goes into the PA. So yeah, that thing rules. Super easy to use. I like that it has like reverse and half on it too, so you can like if you haven't noticed, I love getting down and just turning knobs. So when you have options like that on a looper, it can be a little more obnoxious than it needs to be. But there's one pedal that's normally on my board that's not right now, and that's the Earthquaker Transmitter. That's a discontinued pedal now, and it breaks my heart because they're getting more and more expensive and harder to come by. So that one usually just stays at home, but when it's at home, I miss it terribly.
Yeah, I'm sad I didn't get one of those. I got a steady addiction to their stuff.
Yeah. I love that pedal. The Astral Destiny kind of feels like it's like older sister, but it doesn't quite do the same thing. But the Astral Destiny is really sick too. But yeah.
Do you want to give us kind of like a few of your kind of stock sound examples?
Sure.
So
yeah.
Show everybody what you're going for.
Yeah. Let's see here. So with like, I'll show you some delay sounds with the DD500. I'll go with like, we don't really play this song anymore, but like, the beginning of When It All Went Black, it kind of it's in drop B, but I'll play it in C sharp. But it kind of starts off with this sort of like washy delay thing where it's just. On way too long, but I like that idea of the delays having to like kind of fight over each other when it switches. And then it's got like this verse bit. I am super into slapback delay on dirty guitar stuff. I just like, we have a song called Don't Let the Bastards Run Your Life, and it has like in the breakdown at the end I play this really so like the breakdown is just and I've kind of been using the Rainbow Machine for that section. It's like a slapback, but repulsive. You know what I mean? Like, so I clicked that on in that section, so just. You know what I mean? You get that like kind of. So while our other guitar player is playing that, I have this sort of octavey bit that I play over it with the Rainbow Machine, and it's just. You know what I mean? So I like the Rainbow Machine for that kind of slapback thing because it sounds like, you have like the guitar line over the top of it, but it sounds like there's like a weird argument happening underneath it.
It's almost like it sounds like a slapback, but like just like it's almost like it's just super modulated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like having that sort of confrontation going on underneath a very simple guitar line, but
Got one more question for you.
What's up?
So do you have a pick that you have to use all the time, or does that make a difference to you?
I think I have one actually. I used these guys forever, like probably 6 years. I use these tortilla chips. Okay. They're 88 millimeter, the Flex. Mm-hmm. These big guys. I used them forever, and I really love them. I love the Flex material. A huge thing for me on guitar is like I do a lot of pick slides, and I feel like the 88 millimeter is the perfect like in between because a thinner pick sounds better, like getting scraped. So the 88 is like a good thickness that it doesn't warp in your hand, but it sounds good pick sliding. It feels good in your hand, the attack of it. I love these things though. They're dumb, but I like them. Nice. That's kind of my thing with gear is that it just has to be dumb for me to love it. So
I did see a theme like through it.
Yeah.
It's terrible, and I love it.
Well, we're getting time here pretty soon, so
we do need. Do we need you to introduce a song though?
Are you doing a featured song?
If you want a feature song, I didn't really talk to you about this.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll probably give you guys our song "An Oil Ocean." It's like our band's collective favorite song. It's a really awkward. It's kind of one of those songs. It's like deceptively simple. It just sounds like kind of a rocker with like a cool breakdown at the end. Our friend Mike from Cold Shoulder has a guest spot on it, and he sounds like Cujo from that Stephen King movie on it. He sounds completely unhinged. But it's our favorite song to play live. The riffs in it are a ton of fun to play. It's some of my favorite lyrics I've ever written. And it's kind of, I feel like it kind of captures everything that we try to achieve as a band, where it's heavy as shit but super catchy at the same time. So, but yeah, Oil Ocean. I'll send you that one.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
Check out Deathtax. Okay. Yeah, I mean we're super active on social media. Our Instagram is probably the one we use the most. Just Deathtax _.
Sweet. We'll link you down in the description.
Cool.
As always.
Sick.
So yeah.
Thanks for letting me jaw about this stuff, dudes.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Remember, check out our Teespring store. Check out our Patreon. Find us on all the social media stuff. We have shirts. I don't think we have shirts posted up.
We don't have it down here.
Yeah. But check all that stuff out. Thanks for joining us on Woodwire and Watts. Until next time, tune up.
Crank the volume.
Let it rip!